What is up, everyone? Today I'll be showcasing my most fun and best Fantasy Cup team I've built so far with Shadow, Steel Wing, Superpower, Hurricane, Dragonite. Just absolutely wild moveset, but this thing and this whole team honestly blew me away. It was so good. First set, I went 4-1. Second set, 5-0. Third set, 0-5. Fourth set, 3-2. So 12-8 overall. Very, very solid, honestly, around Legend Elo. I end up peaking around 3090 or 3080 Elo, so not too bad at all. And it's all around the Shadow Dragonite with that crazy Steel Wing Superpower Hurricane moveset that just caught so many people off guard. I'll be pairing it with Whimsicott Turtonator core, a core I've gotten to like this meta quite a bit. Whimsicott is an amazing answer for dragon types and water types, which Turtonator just struggles with, and Turtonator deals really well with the steel types, which Whimsicott struggles with. So overall, in general with this team, what I try to do is get switch and align Whimsicott and Turtonator where I need them to be, and generally that worked out pretty well. Game number 1 here. Oh, by the way, I'll just be showcasing my first 10 battles today. And then, because those were so much fun, but after those 10 battles, I'll also be adding some of the losses from the later sets, because these first 10 battles will make this team look indestructible, which is not really fair, because it isn't. So after this, we'll take a look at some losses first. But first, the first 10 battles I had, starting in this game where I led into an Alolan Sandslash, which is absolutely awful. It was also an Alolan regular Sandslash, which is so much worse for Dragonites, and Steel Wings don't do that much. Opponent decided to switch out into Azumarill after throwing an Ice Punch though, probably try to catch like a Superpower, but I'm running Hurricane, took out the Azumarill there. I then have to use 2 shields, but I have 2 attacks loaded now to throw at this Alolan Sandslash, so I'm gonna get my shields back. Like I said earlier, strategy with this team is just try to use Dragonite to realign your Pokemon, and now it should be looking pretty good, because I can get Whims into the Tapu Fini now, and we're looking good there. The only thing I'm worried about is that the Alolan Sandslash may be able to farm down my Whimsicott to get a bunch of energy and throw like 2 drones at my Turtonator, but the first throw Ice Punch here, of course, this still won't knock me out. And after this, I'll be able to get to a Moonblast, and Moonblast already puts the Alolan Sandslash in range for a single Incinerate. So even if they were able to farm up to 2 Drurons now, the first Incinerate is going to sneak through during this first drill run. So even if they had a second, they will get knocked out anyway. And this is a GG coming back from a pretty horrible lead. And that's going to be a theme throughout this video. Shadow Dragonite is just able to flip so many switch advantages. And if it can't, then it can get shields down at very least, which sets up Turtonator quite nicely as well. In comes Azumarill lead in game number 2. You see I'm running Grass Knot on Whimsicott, by the way. The main reason for that is the Azumarill matchup, because 2 Seed Bombs just barely don't knock out Azumarill, and a Grass Knot just does a lot more than that. It also helps in some other matchups. Grass Knot just hits so much better, or so much harder than Seed Bomb, and I don't find the pacing difference to be that huge. Out comes my opponent's Turtonator now. This is kind of awkward, to be honest, because I don't have Dragon Claw on my D-Knight, but what I'm hoping will happen here is that my opponent switches out, and I can get maybe Shield Advantage or whatever they bring in next, and then my Turtonator should be able to take out their Turtonator. Out comes Flygold now. Far from ideal for my Dragonite, to be honest, because a Dragon Claw will knock out. And seeing as I just showed, I have Superpower. They probably don't expect Dragon Claw now, so they probably expect this to be a Superpower. Also, at this point, I thought Flygon may win CMP versus Dragonite, but it turns out Dragonite actually does, so I may have actually been able to fire off a Hurricane there, which would have definitely knocked out the Flygon, so a bit of a mistake there. Still not looking too bad now. I'm two Fairy Winds away from the Moonblast. So what I do is I throw 1 Fairy Wind into the Turtonator, switch out so that the Incinerate damage will register on my own Turtonator. My Turtonator can take the Dragon Pulse, get to a Dragon Pulse of its own, and as long as this opponent's Turtonator is not at a Dragon Pulse, should be able to fire off 1 more Fairy Wind, get to the Moonblast, and this may knock out Turtonator. I don't know. It's close. Does knock out their Turtonator, and that's a good game. All right, Galarian Weezing lead, very bad for this team as well. But Steel Wing Dragonite does fine against Weezing, so my opponent actually switches out instantly into a Azumarill here, doesn't want to take the Steel Wing damage on their Weezing. I go for the Hurricane. I threw it immediately, and it happened to be on alignment, because I wanted to force their shield before they forced mine. But because I threw an alignment there, they're actually going to be able to get to a second Ice Beam, which is far from ideal, but I decided to just stick to my plan of going for Switch Advantage with Dragonite. And as long as it's not something that does very well with shields down in their backline, I should be looking pretty good here. I throw my Hurricane on the CMP tire. It is 5 Fairy Winds for Sludge Bomb, or Sludge, I mean. It's more for Sludge Bomb, but Weezing learns Sludge. So we CMP tie here. It's 5 for the first Sludge, by the way, and 4 for the second. So keep that in mind for during your battles. And turns out I just perfectly rock, paper, scissors their line now. As Whimsicott is pretty much the best Flygold answer there is after like Skarmory and Togetic probably. Togetic is probably the hardest answer, double resisting like everything Flygon can throw, but Whimsicott's still a very good answer. I will be able to take 2 Scorching Sands here and be able to double Grass Knot this Flygon, and we should be able to win the game here. Oh, by the way, about Turtonator, I haven't spoken about it. I'm running Incinerate, Flash Cannon, Dragon Pulse. That is the moveset I prefer, since it's the most flexible moveset. I'm already doing enough fire damage with Incinerate that I felt like I didn't really need Overheat or Flamethrower on it. I do think Dragon Pulse is mandatory, however, just for the mirror, especially in this team. Of course, I'm running a Grass type. I need my own Turtonator to be able to beat their Turtonator, so that's why I'm running Dragon Pulse. And then Flash Cannon helps out quite a bit versus Azumarill and Tapu Fini, which are on pretty much every team, so I found it come in clutch quite often. My opponent here had Turtonator, very bad for Whim, so I'm forced to switch into Dragonite and fire off a Hurricane into this Azumarill now. Does a lot of damage. If this is a Play Rough Azumarill, you're always able to farm down before they get the 2 Play Roughs. If it's Ice Beam, you are sometimes still able to do that, but not always. I risk it. I just hope they have Play Rough. Go for the farm down. And again, we have grabbed Switch Advantage here with the Steel Wing Dragonite. I'm 2 shields down, but I have so much energy that I will likely get the shields back. I go for the Superpower here. Oh, by the way, another thing about Turtonator, do not worry about IVs. Better rank is definitely very helpful, but mine sucks. Mine is really, really bad. I think the IVs are like 13, 15, 10. Just off the top of my head. They suck. And I actually lost 2 games because my IVs were really, really bad. I could have won more games, is what I'm saying. But even with these pretty bad IVs, I was able to go way positive. So I don't think ultimately it really matters. I realigned. I got Finny aligned to my own Whimsicott now, and we're looking really, really good. What I'm worried about here is that the Turtonator could potentially farm down my Whimsicott and get to a Dragon Pulse versus my Turtonator and potentially win CMP, but luckily still get to the Moonblast here, take out their Turtonator, GG. Alright, another Turtonator. Yeah, I saw quite a few of these and honestly won most of them, which was kind of crazy. Another Turtonator here, throwing Dragon Pulse immediately. It gives me a free Steel Wing, which is pretty nice. Gonna have to shoot this up. Out comes another Azumarill, and I know how to play this. We Hurricane, and then we Steel Wing all the way down, hopefully before they get the 2 attacks. And it should be giving me a lot of energy. This Azumarill actually decides to shield up the Hurricane, though, which is a little awkward, but may still be fine. Shoot this up. And now we're just gonna go for another Hurricane. This should not knock out the Azumarill just yet, but it will do a lot, as you can see. Now we Steel Wing down that Azumarill. Out comes their Whimsicott now. And I can't reach the Hurricane, unfortunately, at this point. I'm just really hoping that this Superpower knocks him out, or takes a shield, I mean. It was never going to knock him out. Since it's their Turtonator in the lead, I just go in Whimsicott here. And I know I can get to the Moonblast, so I go for the Moonblast now. This will take a shield, and then I hope I can sweep with my own Turtonator somehow. And we go for the Dragon Pulse. I know I can take a Dragon Pulse here, but I know that I won't get to 2 because the Incinerators will knock me out. So just barely get here. And now it's just a question about whether or not I can knock out their Whimsicott in like 2 Incinerates. If I can, I win this game. If I don't, I don't. I just barely am not able to do it. Just 1 HP on the Whimsicott. Had I been able to survive 2 more Fairy Winds there, I would have actually won that game. But, well, it would have been close. They may have thrown the energy earlier then, but yeah, a higher ranked Turtonator would have helped me out so much there. But yeah, it is what it is. GG. All right, moving into this next game. S-Cavalier lead. Not good. Bring out the Dragonite. And I go for Superpowers. My opponent way underestimated the energy gains of Steel Wing. And they let the second one go before they even fire over Charge Attack. And they know just know the game is over at that point. So they concede the match. GG. All right, Registeel lead. Really bad for Whimsicott. Especially if it's Flash Cannon. Generally, it's Zap Cannon, Focus Blast, in which case you will resist all the charge attacks that Registeel throws at you. But Registeel also resists yours, so it's still winning that matchup. Dragonite, still not the worst versus it though. I actually threw my Superpower immediately just to take an early shield. I was considering letting Dragonite go at that point, but I decided, let's use a shield. I'm still going to be able to do damage for whatever comes in, and I do a lot of damage. Look at that Hurricane. That was a debuffed Hurricane, and it did so much on that Tapu Fini. Nearly knocks it out. I can actually farm all the way down now with the Steel Wings. Almost have another Superpower loaded now. Oh, I made a bit of a mistake here. Throw my Superpower early, being like, these Lock-ons aren't doing that much. I will get to another one. Nope, the Lock-ons are now doing way more, and I'm not able to get to another one. Had I overfarmed more there, I would have been able to get to 2 of them. So that's definitely what I should have done. Still, not in the worst spot there, though. I am realigned, and it's a Flygon in the back, which we have seen before. It's just incredible for Whimsicott here. Unless it's like, if it's like a Shadow Earth Power variant, or even just Shadow. I think straight up Shadow may be able to win in this scenario. As 2 Scorching Sands would probably knock me out. They actually let the Grass Knot go. Smart move. I actually thought I would knock out, because Flygon is a very squishy Pokemon. But it didn't. Grass Knot not that strong, apparently. They get the drop, but shouldn't matter. At this point, as long as I don't get locked on down before I get the 2 Grass Knot, I'm looking very, very fine. And that is looking to be the case. Get to the first one here. My opponent knows it's over. Or it's maybe just calling a C-bomb, so I let it go. Metagross lead? Yeah, I don't... Magnemite pivot? I know about this. I was doing all these battles on my Twitch live stream. I stream on Twitch pretty much every evening. Actually, just... yeah, pretty much every evening. Every European evening, so... I'm from Europe, so I stream like from like 8 p.m. to like 10 p.m. Central European time pretty much every day, and I was streaming these too on Twitch. And I believe this may have been a stream sniper, as this was someone who was in my chat earlier as well. But even against stream snipers, we do not give up. We do not give up, okay? I decided to get shields down there. I figured they may have like a dragon in the back, and if it's a dragon in the back, getting shields down would be huge for Turtonator, because then I am able to Dragon Pulse it, and what do you know, out does come the dragon. I knew they were going to try to catch. Did not throw yet. This could still get a bit dicey though, since I don't have a fire attack on my Turtonator, but 1 Dragon Pulse, 1 Incinerate should do the job, but unfortunately, they get their attack off here. This is called damage registration error. They are not supposed to get the attacker. The Incinerate is supposed to hit beforehand, but luckily, just a Meteor Mash, and I have to throw a Dragon Pulse into the Haxorus for the GG there. Very nice. Oh, another Turtonator lead. Switching to my Dragonite, out comes Azumarill. Once again, we have played this matchup so many times. This opponent actually throws Ice Beam on alignment there, which is not the worst for me, since I get a free Steel Wing. This means that if they let this go, I can actually farm it down before they get to another Ice Beam, I believe. But since I shielded, I figured they may also shield, but luckily they did not. And now I'm able to easily farm this down, get switch advantage. And now, if I can get shields on whatever they bring in next, I'm looking very, very good. I make a big mistake here. I throw 1 Steel Wing too many. I was gonna throw my first Superpower after 4, and then CMP tie with another Superpower afterwards. But now I threw on alignment, and they're able to take out my Turtonator, but luckily it didn't matter. They let the Superpower go, they have a Magneton in the back, Turtonator was on it, we win that game. Easy clap. Alright, Ferrothorn lead. I was imagining this would be like a Flash Cannon or a Mirror Shot Ferrothorn, in which case a Whimsicott sucks versus it, so I bring in my Dragonite. Also, I want to realign. Eventually, I'm going to get Turtonator on it, of course. So, switching to Dragonite, ends up being a Thunder Ferrothorn. Not great, because that paces to the charge stacks quicker versus my Dragonite, but luckily they still switch out into the Azumarill here. Now that I'm debuffed, this Hurricane won't do as much. but it still does a ton. Still does a ton. And I may even be able to realign here still, if they let my next superpower go, at least. Gonna shoot up this player off, I can now farm up a lot more than if they had Ice Beam. Well, probably just like one stealing more, but that's still a little bit more. That's why I don't like Player of Azu. You've seen several times Player of Azu just not cutting it versus stealing Dragonite. If some of these Azumarill were running Ice Beam, they would have made it so much harder for me. My opponent has another Water Fairy in the back in Tapu Fini, and for a second there, I was thinking about switching in my Whimsicott, saving my Dragonite to potentially Superpower or Hurricane the Tapu Fini or Ferrothorn later, but I figured that Whimsicott would likely be able to get the 2 Grass Knots versus Tapu Fini anyway, even after a Moonblast, so I decided to just let it go, get to a Grass Knot here. They have to shield now, and if they want to take the next, or want to keep their Tapu Fini, oh my goodness. If they want to keep their Tapu Fini, they have to catch the Grass Knot on Ferrothorn, in which case I farm it down, and then I should be able to Flash Cannon their Tapu Fini with my Turtonator. Wow, that was a lot. I need a sip of water after that one. Boom! Look at that. Look at the damage. That's why we were in Flash Cannon, alright? That's why we were in Flash Cannon. Oh goodness. That was the 5-0, by the way. That was the 5-0. Now, a problem for this team. Steel Wing Dragonite, funny enough, is a problem. Especially in the lead, like, my Whimsicott does not like to see it. They could potentially farm me all the way down there, and did not want that to happen, so I do switch into my Dragonite now. I know I'm gonna have to double shield, but at least they won't be able to get to a third. I should be able to Steel Wing down, so they're now forced to switch out, but they've taken both my shields, and now out comes a Azumarill, and we are just in a very, 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 very tough spot now. Unless they have, like, a Ferrothorn in the back, maybe then Turtonator is able to sweep, but not looking great. Also, they shoot up that Hurricane, making it even more difficult for me. Besides that, they also farm up to 7 bubbles, which means they're actually gonna be able to outpace my Whimsicott here to an Ice Beam to knock it out, and then I bring in Turtonator to hopefully sweep the game, but yeah, it's not looking great. I mean, I do have Flash Cannon, and their Dragonite is kind of low. They are dry. There may be some possibility here, but yeah, it's not great. It's definitely not great. They're gonna be able to throw an attack here. Opponent actually decides to throw an Ice Beam, and I think they're 2 away from the next Ice Beam, so they do something very smart. They bubble, then they switch out into their Dragonite and force to throw a Dragon Pulsar to knock it out, and since they were 2 away from the Ice Beam, and they just threw like another bubble, and then switch out to take the Incinerate on the Dragonite, they now can throw another bubble and throw the Ice Beam into my Turtonator, which means they don't even reveal their 3rd Pokemon. Wow. Great play by my opponent there. Alright, next opponent. Oh, we're facing a regional winner here with the regional winner shirt, Skarmory. Skarmory is a problem. Alright, Skarmory is a big issue. I don't even want to Superpower immediately, because then you just debuff your defenses way too quickly. So I Superpower once on number 2, and my opponent catches it on their Dedenne. Does a lot though, does a lot. Now I'm gonna go for the Hurricane, expecting them to think it's just a debuffed Superpower and that this won't do that much. But they shoot it up. And now I'm in trouble. Now I'm in trouble. 2 play roughs will knock out my Whimsicott, and they've gotten a lot of farm on this Dedenne. They just got to like 99 energy though, which means that if this is a play rough, they won't get to the next before my Grass Knot, so this is good. If their team is now weak to Turtonator in the back, like maybe less Cavalier or Lucario, we may be at a good spot, but their team is already double weak to Turtonator pretty much. Both Skarmory and the Dedenne don't do good versus Turtonator, so I was expecting the 3rd to be very good versus it, and it is. It's the Haxorus, which is a very good counter to Turtonator. I want to see how much damage this does, so I do believe I let it go. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. I mean, I could have shielded that, but they would outpace me to another Breaking Swipe anyway, so it didn't matter at all at this point. I know the game is over, so I'm gonna concede. GG. Great lead. Great switch. Out comes Melmetal. This is actually not too great though. If it's running Rock Slide, I'm pretty sure they can win the 0 shield advantage versus me, since I'm not running a fire attack on my Turtonator as a charge stack, but luckily they're running Superpower, so I can just take both. Farm this down, and then I have a Flash Cannon loaded to throw at the Azumarill, which is actually some great chip damage there. It's actually some great chip damage, because this puts it in a Grass Knot range already, so some good chip damage. Gonna get farmed down there. 4 bubbles. Not ideal. They're only 1 away from the Ice Beam. So they get there. Well, they got there 1 earlier. So I'm expecting this to be just be a play rough. So easily can just no-shield this. And now comes out the problem Pokemon, alright? Magnezone. I was very lucky to see barely any of these, actually. Especially in the lead. I was very lucky to not see any of these. But unfortunately, and now I started seeing them. And they're bad. They're very bad to deal with if you only have Whimsicott and Dragonite left. But at this point, I did get 2 shields from Magnezone. If I can get to a Superpower with my Dragonite, I may still be in a good spot. Fire off the Mirror Shot here. Don't get the buff. That's huge. They get to the next. I think this is just going to be a Mirror Shot. It could be a Wild Charge, but I'm expecting it to Mirror Shot. Bateman should survive. And then I didn't tap my Superpower. I win CMP here most of the time. Maybe not this time, because I have a very good one. But I win it most of the time, so I really should just have thrown it. And I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Now I have to put it on Whimsicott, but unfortunately I get the attack drop, which now means this Moonblast will just barely not be able to knock out. Had I think I would have. Yeah, I would have. If that Moonblast were knocked out, I definitely would have won that game. But it is what it is. Misplay on my end by not throwing that Superpower. I think I just missed the button. I don't know. Just a big brain fart. You know, shit happens. It happens. It happens. And yeah, I lost. Still got very close though. So it's okay. That was the final battle, by the way. I just had so much fun playing this team. So I definitely do recommend it. It does quite good as well. At least in my elo range. I'm thinking. I heard a lot of players around veteran range are seeing a lot of Galarian Stunfisks, which would make it a bit hard for his team to do well. To be honest, his team does not play very nicely into Galarian Stunfisk, but against like around like Legend Elo, I was not seeing any like ever. So that's why I felt safe running this. But if you're seeing a lot of Galarian Stunfisk, unfortunately, I don't think it'll work out that well. So yeah, just gotta adapt your team based on what you're seeing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck with your battle trainers.